Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Saturday. I am your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Saturday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that will talk about tonight. We have some stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. Obviously, we will continue to talk about that scattered to numerous convection that we will be receiving in terms of shower and thunderstorm activity and the decrease as we go into next week. We're also going to talk about just the couple of, honestly, I think really just tonight and then maybe tomorrow, um, with with our flooding, because after pretty much tonight, that flash flood threat is pretty much going to go away, and we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about the dry and cooler conditions in the tropics as well. So that's the stuff that we're going to talk about. Obviously, the main thing, though, you can see on your screen, we're going to talk about the invest. The invest that's right now, if you don't know what an invest is pretty much just an area of interest inside the tropics that we're going to be watching for. But if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go in and do so. Hit the share button as well. Share with all the people that you know, because sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. And if you go on and share it, obviously it would help support the channel. But let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in terms of our radar. We do, in fact, have some rainfall going on from Chesterfield down near Columbia and the surrounding areas as shower activity goes on through there. Also, over here in the coastal regions from Charleston up into Allendale, down over here into Hilton Head Island and Bluffton. We have rainfall activity going on over there, meaning that, it's nothing really too heavy. We're not looking at like heavy precipitation, maybe except for down here, maybe near Folly Beach, maybe some moderate precipitation. Same thing over there for Isle of Palms. But this flood warning or flood watch that we have going on right now over here inside of the low country will go away, I believe, at around 2 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there. 2 o'clock is when that will expire. If we go on and check and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we do have rainfall going on from Alabama up into Tennessee and Kentucky. We also do have some rainfall going on inside of Michigan, but some of those actually are maybe severe. Rainfall is also moving through near Florida. Also inside of Minnesota, we have some rainfall, and look down here in the west from California all the way over into Colorado and Utah, as well as New Mexico and Arizona, where that rainfall is going on over there. Now for our cloud cover, we do in fact have some cloud cover, and it's for the most part, it relatively takes over most of the state. Goes all the way from the southern upstate over into the Midlands, down to the low country, also inside of the PD region as well. And if you go to that cloud cover for the future, you can see that cloud cover, as you're going to move it forward, a lot of that cloud cover will start to move out of the upstate and move out of the Midlands. And by the time you get to around like tomorrow morning, you can kind of see it looking actually relatively nice up there inside the upstate. But it seems like that cloud cover just stays stationary as you continue to tomorrow afternoon/evening. That cloud cover will stay in the low country, the Midlands, the PD, the Grand Strand, but the upstate will be seeing some relatively nice conditions. And if we go to that current temperatures right now 74 in Columbia, 74 in Orangeburg, 74 in Somerville, and even 73 in Sumter, 73 in Florence, and 73 in Hartsville, 73 in Bennettsville, and 74 in Conway, 75 in Georgetown, and 77 in Murrells Inlet, 77 in Myrtle Beach. And if you move down here, 76 in Beaufort, 79 inside of Hilton Head Island, and even 74 in Aiken. If you move up here to the upstate, 73 in Anderson, and even 73 in Greenville, 72 in Spartanburg, and 72 in Gaffney, 71 in York, and 72 in Rock Hill. Now for your low temperatures for tonight, 65 in Greenville, 65 also in Spartanburg, as well as 64 in Rock Hill, 65 in Newberry and Greenwood, as well as 66 in Anderson, 68 in Columbia, 68 in Orangeburg, 68 in Walterboro, and even 69 in Moncks Corner, 72 in Charleston, 71 in Georgetown, 74 in Hilton Head Island, and even 73 in Myrtle Beach. Now for your rainfall, good amount of rainfall is possible, especially for that upstate in those coastal regions. 100th of an inch to a tenth of an inch goes for Anderson, Walterboro, Moncks Corner, Georgetown, and then a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch goes for Greenville, Hilton Head Island, Charleston, and Myrtle Beach. All those regions have a chance for a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch, and some people will see even more. Potentially an inch to an inch and a half of rainfall is possible as you move through the next 24 hours from tonight into tomorrow night. Now, if we go on and look at the crazy score for tonight, if you have no idea what the crazy score is, the score that is completely made up by a bot, and it goes on and it gives me a score between 1 and 100 plus. And so it's at a 32 for tonight inside the moderate category. Why is it at a 32? Obviously because patchy fog is likely. Especially for the coastal plains and the CSRA, potentially reducing visibility to 1 to 5 miles. Also, flood risk is still there, but it's relatively reduced, and then scattered shower activity persists. That's the reason why we're at a 32. If we move into the SPC outlook for thunderstorm activity, thunderstorms are possible for pretty much all of the low country still, and the Grand Strand, also the Eastern PD. Even if, some people probably won't see any rainfall, but if the convection gets going throughout this area, for sure, you will have the chance to receive a thunderstorm. And speaking of, is there any thunderstorms going on right now throughout the state? Not now. But again, if that convection gets going, that can easily change a little bit more. If we go into tomorrow, thunderstorms are still possible as well for some of those same areas. Again, the entire low country. Also going into the eastern or the Grand Strand region in the Eastern PD. Upstate, the entire upstate has a chance for a thunderstorm tomorrow. Same thing with the Northern Midlands. And then for day 3 for Monday, that threat is again just reduced down from the Southern Midlands and the Eastern PD all the way down towards the coastal regions for Monday. Now for excessive rainfall, we still have this slight risk right here of excessive rainfall, and it goes again from the same areas that we were talking about this morning, from Augusta down into the entire low country, at least most of it, or like 95% of it. And then over here, Conway, Georgetown, Litchfield Beach, Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, scattered flash flooding there. And if you go into the green region, that goes for Walhalla, Seneca, Pickens, Anderson, down all the way into Orangeburg, into Manning, into Loris, into Marion. That is for isolated flash flooding. That goes for tonight, going into early tomorrow morning. But now for tomorrow, for our Sunday, no excessive rainfall. Same thing for Monday, same thing for Tuesday, and same thing for Wednesday. There is indeed no excessive rainfall that is expected for the next 5 days. Now let's go and look at the model, since we are, talking about the next 5 days or so. We can go on and talk about our future real quick. And if I go on and just check what's going on throughout the state for our future, as you start off here, time is in the top right corner of your screen. Make sure you go on and pay attention to that. As you push this forward, you can see that rainfall, that low pressure that's off of the state, will continue to bring rainfall activity to the low country. And even by around 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m., there'll still be some rainfall. But by the time you get to around 7 to 8 a.m., you're really starting to see that reduced area of convection. And you get all the way into around noon tomorrow, and you can see that for the most part, it's really actually just looking pretty good. And it's not looking like we're having too much rainfall. If we go even further into the future, you can see that some rainfall may try to push into the upstate like tomorrow afternoon / evening, and that will possibly bring some of that shower and thunderstorm activity. But once we get to around 12 o'clock in the morning, this is on August the 25th here. This is for Monday, like Monday is August the 25th at 12 a.m. Again, staying relatively dry. And by the time we get to that afternoon hours, again, the same thing. Rainfall seems possible, especially in that low country region, in that Grand Strand region, where we have that thunderstorm risk for Monday. And you can see the shower / thunderstorm that is already starting to pop up on 2 p.m. on Monday. So that's it for the short-term future. So pretty much, a lot drier than what we've been experiencing the past couple of days, ever since yesterday, but for the most part, a lot drier. And that will continue. we will see a lot drier conditions as we move through this week. And we'll talk about the week forecast tomorrow and how much precipitation we will receive next week. But for the most part, it's a lot drier. A lot drier. Just as we move through next week as a whole. This is August the 31st right here. This is all the way not into next week. And when I say next week, I mean tomorrow. But I just mean the week after next week, which is the first, which we're getting into the month of September by that point. It's still looking relatively dry. But when September comes along, you remember there was a little storm system that we were looking at by that time frame. Like, this is September the 4th, going into, this was updated tonight. This is what it looked like yesterday. You can see not too bad still. But if we go even further into the past, you can see for sure some rainfall activity starting to move in. This is September the 1st. That was 2 days ago. Now this is it. So it's been kind of going all over the place. You see it going from dry start to active start to dry start to active start. And so we're just going to have to continue to wait and watch for that just as we move through. And there goes our high pressure right there. As we get more into September, though, once we get to around September the 5th, we really can't go any further than that just because that is 300 hours out. But we can look at patterns, and patterns say that for the most part, that it's not going to be too active. Maybe some active activity from the east and trying to move its way west as a potential tropical activity goes on. But again, we'll talk more about that once we get there. But for now, still way too far out for that. And speaking of, let's go on now and talk about the cold front that has moved through. And we're already below average in terms of temperatures, and that's because of the cloud cover and the rainfall that we've been receiving. So we're already below average right now, especially as we go into tonight. But one thing I do want to look at for sure is this is August the 26th right here, going into August the 27th, the 28th. You can just see this cool air pushing through all the way through. And even as we go into September, it's still going to be cool. And I was saying that, there may be some warm air that tries to push in. This is September the 4th, right here. And you can see that for sure. It does get, a bit warmer for a little bit, but that cold air will come right back through. But then kind of the warm air decides maybe wants to try to come back. I remember yesterday when we checked, it seemed like that we would potentially be receiving a lot of cool air than the warm up for just like a couple of days, but then it got back cool due to another cold front, and we can check that as well. If you go into the dew point, you can see the cold front right there as it comes through tomorrow night and Monday morning. That moves through, and for the most part, you can see that cold air just kind of just move back into place even on September the 1st, and it looks to stay. But that seems to be like a warm front right there that I'm looking at. That's September the 5th. You can see the warm air, the higher dew points come in from North Carolina moving down into South Carolina. And so most likely some sort of warm front potentially as it moves its way through. And so, but again, that's again 300 hours out. But the main thing that we're looking at is this cold front right here. And one other thing that you can also look at, if you want to look at the Climate Prediction Center for the next 6 to 10 days in terms of temperatures, we will be below average in terms of temperatures as we move through the next 6 to 10 days. So that's for August the 29th going into September the 2nd, and then for the next 8 to 14 days, still below average for August the 31st through September the 6th. So that's all that I wanted to say for our cold front that's moving through. Let's go and talk about the tropics now. So, if you have not heard the news, Tropical Storm Fernand is now with us. It is a 40-mile-per-hour storm. This was declared a tropical storm like around 4:30-ish. And so the official update came out at 5 o'clock. But for now, yes, Tropical Storm Fernand is here. It's a 40-mile-per-hour storm. Does this have a threat for South Carolina? Absolutely not. This will not even get close to South Carolina, as it's going to be moving the complete opposite direction. And so we've been talking about this for just a good amount of time. And if you were tuned in with us, you were there probably when I said this probably will have no affiliation with us, and it seems to have followed those footsteps. So, for now, we're not looking for anything for Fernand right now, as it is completely just moved off, going just to the east of Bermuda, going all the way up there into Canada. So, no threat for us or anything else. But this is the thing that I was talking about. So, at the beginning, this invest might be undervalued, and so you might be, asking. This is when I get to my soliloquy part, but you might be asking, what in the world am I talking about? What in the world am I talking about? What do you mean this next invest might be undervalued? And I'm about to show you. So the official kind of like, I guess, National Hurricane Center forecast for this pretty much says, quote, east of the Windward Islands, invest 99. Showers and thunderstorms have increased and are beginning to show signs of organization in association with a tropical wave located about 500 miles east of the Windward Islands. This system could become a tropical depression during the next day or two, while it moves quickly west at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. Passing through the Windward Islands and the Leeward Islands late on Sunday. Regardless of development, locally heavy rainfall and gusty winds are possible across portions of the Leeward Islands, the Windward, and the Leeward Islands on Sunday and Monday. The system is expected to reach the Central Caribbean on Tuesday, where conditions are expected to become less favorable for additional development. An Air Force reconnaissance aircraft is scheduled to investigate the system tomorrow if necessary. So this has a 40% chance of forming over the next 48 hours and a 40% chance of forming over the next 7 days. And so you say, okay, well, you say it's undervalued, but they're talking about, and they said that a tropical depression or a tropical storm could form. And that's right. They did, in fact, say that. But I want you to look at this right now. You go and look at your screen. You can see that it says, this is the hurricane models that came out. So it talks about it forming potentially the next day or so. That's the next 24, 48, maybe even 72 hours. But if you look at some of these models, you can see that a lot of them goes a bit further. Some of them have it going kind of to the south and west, while some of them have it going into the north and west as well. And so you have a couple that curve, you have a couple that go straight, you have a couple that go down to the south and west. Now, how intense will it be? Will be a question for when we get there. But this is the model intensity guides, and you have some of them saying that this will get up to a hurricane. It's potentially possible. I mean, if models are saying it, then there is a possibility that this could become a hurricane and become, obviously, tropical storm or hurricane. The next name, storm. I believe the next name is Gabrielle. So that would be the next name for it if Invest 99 does become that storm/hurricane. And so you can even see the GEPS. This one right here says that it could potentially gain some strength, especially as it gets close to Florida, potentially. That's just what one model run says. I just want to say that. That's just one member that says it, but it's still something to look for, as you have a couple that kind of goes up, and one of them that has it kind of getting a bit to that category 1/maybe low 2 status as it moves up into Florida, and that would cause us some concern over there in South Carolina if it was to occur. But for now, like I said, that's like 240 hours out by that time. So that is still a long way out. I mean, just in terms of days, that is 10 days out. So we really can't say anything for that. We just have to see if this thing even forms inside the first place. And so that's why when I say might be undervalued, I really mean that word might, because there is a chance that it's not undervalued in that they actually were correct all along. But the might is there just to say, okay, well, it might try to do something, and it might gain some strength, and it might cause, for what I say the C word, concern for us over here in South Carolina. But that's just what I wanted to say. I just wanted to preach on that real quick. And so we're just going to have to continue to watch for that and see what in the world this thing right here is going to do. As it, again, only has a 40% chance of forming over the next 48 hours and a 40% chance of forming over the next 7 days. Where will it go? We have no idea right now. But that's pretty much all that I wanted to say for the tropics. So, there is one more thing I want to say, though, before we go on and talk with the audience, and that there was an earthquake that occurred today. There was an earthquake that did, in fact, occur today. And so, you might be wondering, where in the world was the earthquake at? Because it was inside South Carolina. And I'll give you a hint. It was somewhere up there in the upstate to where it did, in fact, hit. So let me go and get a drum roll for that real quick. It was up there in a place I believe I've been practicing this name. It's Coronacca. I'm pretty sure I hope I'm saying that correctly. But it's just to the north of Greenwood. Over here, there was kind of a trifecta of them almost at one point, because there was 3 of them that happened. And it was relatively kind of at different intervals. There was one at 4:17 UTC. There was then one 5 minutes later. And then there was another one that occurred around close to 20 minutes later. So there was 3 earthquakes that happened in the relative same area over there, just to the north of Greenwood. And for the most part, again, they were relatively weak. There was nothing strong with them or anything like that. But it was around one of them. The first one was a 2.9, the second one was a 3, and then the third one was a 2.5. So they all did occur. Over there again, kind of in the same relative area. But other than that, there's nothing else that happened over here in South Carolina for everyone else, where everyone else did not receive any sort of earthquake today. But that's just something new that I brought. An earthquake occurred today. I kind of did like it. You kind of see like the O. It's kind of like a hole to show. I don't know. Maybe it was just I was just thinking about that. Maybe just for an earthquake. I just thought about just like a hole opening up. I don't know what I was thinking about that. But for the most part, it says an earthquake occurred today. So let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. It was a very rainy day here in Moncks Corner and cool. Hope everyone had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. Good evening to you, and thanks for that weather update. He also says, remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button by sharing the video with everyone that you know. Because he's right. Sharing is caring. We've had 22 people tune in, and we only have 7 likes. No idea why 15 people decided to come in and just not hit the like button today. So, yeah, I know. It's interesting, but I can't force anybody to. But that's pretty much all I have to say there. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, make sure you go and do so and hit the subscribe button. We have 580 subscribers. We are 20 away from that main goal of 600. Dad says, good evening, Joseph. I hope all is well. All is well. It was a bit warmer today than yesterday. However, we did manage to get out. That's fantastic to hear. And I know you probably may want to cool down as well, just from how hot it's been. But that's just me assuming. My Nana says, hello, Jay, a good day today. That's great to hear. Lots of water in my yard. The pump is still pumping water from the house. Well, glad that you had a good day, and there's still a lot of water in my yard as well. Not as much as yesterday, but you can actually see like the trash, or not trash, but the grass was just cut, so you can kind of see like the dead leaves still kind of hanging on the side of the fence. So I actually could measure that to see how much water was standing in that one area. So I might go out and measure that just whenever. Check that out. Trail says, greetings everyone, greetings to you. Mr. Anthony also says, good evening everyone, good evening to you. My Aunt Lula then says, good evening, everyone. We had a lot of rain today in Georgetown, and when it stopped, it was so hot and muggy. Thank you so much for that weather update. Again, good evening to you as well. That says, what was that orange thing headed towards Jamaica? That was the invest that we were just talking about. That is something that they might have to watch for. But again, nothing's set in stone yet. Trail then says, you said it correctly. That's great. Glad. And then wild 3 earthquakes. Yeah, in a short period of time. That's, some people are already going online starting the, the stuff saying that, all the crazy stuff that we've seen, that I've seen online, especially with stuff with the hurricane, where people are saying that there will be a Cat 5 that hits South Carolina tomorrow. And it's just, I don't understand why some of these people just go on and just lie and say all this stuff. But it's the same thing with earthquakes as well. Saying that we can predict earthquakes and all that kind of stuff. But it is wild, though. I will say, it is wild. But for the most part, that's just what happened. And that's it. So, nothing else inside the chat to talk about. One more thing before I go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina, that being San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia, and Duncan, Oklahoma. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. I actually posted this. I don't think I posted this on my YouTube thing. But I actually got 35 likes on this one. This was from a video that I showed, a video that I wanted to show, because I was talking about how I wanted to show you guys a video today, and I'll continue to pump out the more videos that we get to. But this was a video right here of me driving, and obviously, let me pause this real quick. So obviously, I'm just going through and says an example of what not to do when driving through flooded waters, and so I'm just, driving minding my business and, going around 20, 25 miles per hour-ish or so going down this road right here. And so, and this is why you should never do this. There's a big puddle here. And this dude inside the truck decides that he's going to try and go 40, 45 miles per hour through the puddle. And essentially pretty much just drowns my entire car with water. So at this point, I can't see, so I have to slam on the brakes, because I didn't want to fly off the road, obviously. You can kind of see how I kind of slowed down significantly by that time frame. So, I just want to bring that up just to say, don't drive fast whenever there's water on the road, and even especially when there's puddles as well. You should not be doing that, because not only will you put yourself at risk, but you're putting other people as well. Because like me, I could not see anything after that guy just splashed me right there. And so I just wanted to bring some attention to that, especially after all the flooding that we have gotten, or that we got yesterday, and even today as well. So that's just one thing that I did want to bring up, though. But that's all I wanted to say there. Let's go on and talk about San Antonio, Raleigh, Philadelphia, and Duncan, Oklahoma. Those are the 4 locations that we talk about, and that is because we have people from those areas that are watching from there. So, starting off with San Antonio first, low temperatures tonight at 76, high temperatures tomorrow at 97, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 76. There is no precipitation tonight, and no precipitation tomorrow, and tomorrow night as well. So, unfortunately, your chance for rainfall has officially ran out for now, but it will come back. Excessive rainfall, you have no threat for any sort of excessive rainfall, so no flooding, so I'd say that that's a win. And then there's no severe weather that is expected. Now talking about Raleigh, North Carolina, with low temperatures tonight 68, high temperatures tomorrow at 86, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 69. There is a slight chance of rain tonight, but other than that, nothing else. But tomorrow, though, you do have a chance for you do not have a chance for any sort of precipitation. That is for tomorrow during the day and tomorrow night. No excessive rainfall is expected, and no severe weather is as well. And then Philadelphia, being the 3rd location with low temperatures tonight at 66, high temperatures tomorrow at 84, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 68. No precipitation tonight or tomorrow, but a chance of showers tomorrow night as well. Yes, there is a chance of showers tomorrow night, so you do have to watch for that. But no excessive rainfall, again, for either one of these locations. But I think for Duncan that's going to change. But you have low temperatures tonight 70, high temperatures tomorrow at 91, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 70. You have no precipitation that is expected for tonight and tomorrow, but you do have a chance for some excessive rainfall, and that does go into Monday. Monday morning going into Tuesday, where some minor or isolated flash flooding is possible as you move into Monday and Tuesday by this time frame. And there is no severe weather that is expected either. But other than that, that's all for those 4 locations. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? It says, quote, a dangerous record heat wave continues in portions of the West through Tuesday, from Washington all the way down through to California, Nevada, Las Vegas, Arizona. High rip current risk and dangerous surf continues through the weekend, and there is flash flood concerns in portions of the Southeast and the Southwest. So pretty much the same thing that we talked about yesterday. Air quality concern for the DFW area. We also do have some flooding ongoing or going to happen as flood watches are out for portions still of North Carolina going into Maryland, and coastal flood advisories are out as well. And other than that, that's all that I have to say. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the forecast tonight. If you did and found it informative, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe and hit the share button. We're at 580 subscribers. 580 subscribers. We're trying to get to 600. We are 20 away. That's all. We are 20 away, and we will be there to 600. And I will stop bugging you for like the next day, and then we'll be obviously back on going on to 700 by that time frame. But for now, it's looking like that we are going to continue to keep on going to 600, but we're at 580, so hopefully we can make it there pretty relatively soon. And I will be back. Let me see real quick if I forgot. Oh, the poll. I said, are you still paying attention and aware of the tropics? 80% says yes, and 20% says no, but I will now. So if you have not been paying attention to the tropics, please make sure that you are still paying attention to it, because we aren't even in peak hurricane season yet. Peak hurricane season is like in 3 weeks. So we still are not even in peak hurricane season yet. So you still have to continue to watch for it. Top fans for tonight, Mr. Chris is at number 1, Trail's at number 2, and then Thad's at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. And that's all that I have to say. So I will be back tomorrow morning with your Sunday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Saturday.